I'm Colette Wong, and welcome to SGTech's Global Future Series. This is our final episode, and it's a subject that will determine our future success. How do we ensure that we have the talents and skills for ever-evolving digital technologies? Well, I'm delighted to have Yen Chong back with us again. Now, Yen, it's a question that is important to SGTech and certainly a key issue for businesses in the sector. How do we keep up the skill levels that we need?
Well, Colette, it's constant learning because the only constant is change. So I guess what we're really saying is that we have to look at upskilling, we have to look at reskilling, and we have to look at job redesign. So that's the only way we can keep pace with the ever changes in the current landscape.
There is a great deal of focus nowadays on diversity and inclusion. How important is this, particularly considering Singapore's future in the global tech sector?
Well, I guess as you said, the word global, so diversity is absolutely important to enable us to remain relevant as we're now playing in the global digital economy. So certainly from that perspective, I think it's important for businesses to adopt a culture of diversity, receptiveness of what's happening across the world, and certainly inclusivity. And inclusivity actually involves also us really keeping our workforce current. So whether they are the ones who are coming into the workforce, the fresh graduates, or whether they're actually someone who actually needs to be retrained and reskilled. So I think by doing that, I think we'll definitely be able to get ourselves relevant and the tech skills relevant for the global economy.
Oh, Yen, thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure. And we'll hear more on talent and skills from Chair Wong Wai Ming later in this program. Singapore has long been a leader in the Asia-Pacific when it comes to innovation. But how do you maintain the island state's competitive edge? Recruiters 1010 Partners have found that looking beyond the obvious pool of candidates and focusing on diversity and inclusion is delivering results for clients.
Singapore needs to take diversity, equity, and inclusion very seriously. Being a global business hub, it is how we attract talents, how we retain talents, so as we will not lose this global pool of talents to our neighboring countries.
Singapore's track record of dynamism and innovation, which has made it a leader in business and technology, can't be taken for granted. There are fears that the city-state could lose its competitive edge to other nations where wages and costs are lower. That's front of mind every day for the team at 1010 Partners.
1010 Partners is a mid to senior recruitment firm. We specialise in technology, data analytics, digital transformation, cybersecurity and risk and compliance and finance. Data and AI is a hotspot for us. We're already speaking with clients that are talking about large growth in those areas, both here in Singapore, but also obviously with our clients in the Middle East as well. We've seen that before with cyber. We've seen that before when crypto and blockchain was launching. So that's a trend that we all follow.
But following trends on their own is not enough to keep companies at the forefront of innovation. There's now a firm business imperative for recruiters like 1010 to not just find candidates with the right skill set, but candidates from diverse backgrounds.
Industry-wide, D&I is top of the agenda. I went to a breakfast last week where there were some very, very large clients from Singapore there, including Temasek, including dairy farms, Google, Standard Chartered, and you can see how important it is to these firms.
DEI, or diversity, equity and inclusion, is now seen as a key business practice.
Actually, it's very exciting. It opens up our avenue in terms of our search and not just being biased, right, to a certain type of candidate, but it opens up opportunities to a wide range of candidates.
Angel Killian from Include Consulting has been working with some of Singapore's top companies to incorporate DEI into their hiring policies.
One of the biggest challenges that we often face with a lot of different organizations when we first work with them is that many leaders within the organizations, they may hold on to traditional beliefs that if we were to hire for diversity, then we would lose out on skills and experience, which is not true.
In fact, companies that don't take more notice of diversity, equity and inclusion may find themselves losing some of their top talent.
A recent report by Fleshman also indicates how candidates in Asia are looking to work for more inclusive employers. According to the report, 1/3 of them are more likely to be moving to a more inclusive employer this year.
Organisations often like to talk about culture fit, but this can unconsciously signal that a potential employee needs to have a similar background and a similar life experience to the existing team.
What this then ends up happening is we end up hiring people who look like us and existing current employees within the team. So a great way to reframe that is by using the term culture add.
For the team at Recruiters 1010, this has meant looking beyond the obvious candidates for job vacancies and providing clients with a short list of potential employees who not only have the right skills, but who may also bring a diversity of experience and thought, often informed by their race, gender, religion, or sexual orientation.
In the last year, almost every job that we picked up, for the mid to senior level, in fact, even at a bit more junior level, requires DEI.
2023 was a tough year, marked by layoffs at many of the big tech and banking firms. Tough too for recruitment firms working in the space. But 1010 believes the future looks bright, with the company expanding into Dubai.
The Middle East business excites us a lot. The reason for that is there's a really good movement of candidates from Asia to the Middle East, and obviously sometimes from the Middle East to Asia. And being able to offer to our clients that candidate pool, I think will separate us from others.
A good movement of job candidates in and out of Singapore will help maintain innovation in the city-state's tech sector, as will keeping DEI front of mind.
Singapore is always in the forefront of driving technology innovation. So we have already led the way in terms of bringing talents, not just from Singapore ourselves, but across the globe over here.
Ultimately, by having that diverse talent pool, we're able to increase innovation, have a competitive advantage, and ultimately that's what helps us move the needle forward within the tech sector.
We talked to members of SGTech's Talent Steering Committee about the challenges in hiring and retaining talent.
I think we all know that we do not have enough talent, right? Do not have enough manpower, and there's a lot that we want to do for the talent that we do have, right, in our ecosystem.
Talent is one of the key drivers for our economy. So we believe that in order for the tech industry to continue to flourish, recruiting talents is so important, and that is why SGTech continue to work closely with the government to look at solving some of the talent issues as well as creating a better future for ourselves.
And for the Talent Steering Committee, we specifically look at tech manpower initiatives that can improve the productivity and the transformation needs of businesses in the Singapore market especially. Reskilling the HR department or the finance department or the operations team with certain tech skills can actually improve or expedite the business transformation for organizations. Jobs redesign is also one of the important strategies that organizations can look at to cope with increasingly competitive, very competitive and complex market. And for jobs redesign, we can look at how we want to improve certain processes, how we should put systems into place and tools into place and technology into place while improving the other processes where we actually need the human touch.
So GRT, CCP, and some of the new programs that are working in the pipeline are some of the work that SGTech has been doing for the last couple of years. GRT stands for Global Ready Talent. It's a program where we match companies with interns coming from the ITE, polytechnics, as well as the universities. By bringing on these young talents, companies can look into building a pipeline of talents for themselves. Okay, I think for the young people, it's very meaningful for them because they are very engaged by both the companies as well as SGTech. So prior to the matching itself, SGTech does go through some of the job description and ensure that these interns are given meaningful jobs during the internship. CCP is the career conversion program where we help employers to bring in either new or existing hires and put them on certain training where they can pick up new skills. So for example, for people in sales, we look at converting them towards the digital sales, marketing as well to digital marketing. And then of course, there will also be newer skills like AI.
More and more in a fast-growing economy, there are even more expectations, that these organizations will need to meet. For example, there will be increasing need for green economy reports on how the company is faring. And if the companies remain in a very manual process, this information will not be able to flow quickly to the management team to be able to make strategic decisions. And I think tracking of it will be very hard. So, naturally, under all these circumstances, it becomes even more important that information is being passed efficiently throughout the company.
B2B, business-to-business mentoring is not one way. As a journey and a relationship is two ways. So you're learning about that sector, the traditional business side of things as well. And you are also providing guidance from a technology standpoint. And when two disciplines comes together, the magic happens where there is interdisciplinary that moves out. So as a mentor, I will urge everyone that thinks about mentoring that this is also beneficial for the mentor, because you're learning new perspective, you're learning more in-depth into the industry that probably you just know it from a one-dimensional basis, and that opens up a new perspective and new partnerships. SGTech, as a tech association, we got 1,000+ members already within our ecosystem and environment. So this is where we do a call to action to reach out to all members to say that we have this B2B mentorship programs, and the call to action is please sign up for this program and share your experience with the mentees. Indeed, it's a very valuable community. At the heart of it, it's people. And definitely people is not only just constrained to Singapore, but global as well. And that's where continuously SGTech, we strive to build international programs through partnerships out of Singapore. Because the value for both the mentors and the mentees is to be plugged into the international community.
Major transportation infrastructure can be vulnerable to malicious actors, and the key to keeping Singapore safe is educating organizations to recognize that their security is in their own hands. The Centre for Cybersecurity is delivering tailored training to make sure Singapore maintains its place at the heart of global trade and commerce.
International trade and commerce are the lifeblood of our connected world. As a major global hub, Singapore is a vital cog in keeping the flow of goods and money moving.
Singapore is a financial hub, it's a legal hub, it's also where a lot of data centers are at.
Singapore's Changi Airport has repeatedly been named the world's best airport, and the country has the second busiest port globally. But all this infrastructure for trade and commerce could so easily come to a grinding halt because of cybercrime.
Singapore is actually constantly being attacked all around the world. It is a much more lucrative and a lot more valuable assets that they can steal from here than if it were to go up elsewhere.
Singapore is navigating an increasingly digital landscape. There's a lot of risk and threats coming our way, and with that, we need a dedicated teaching institution to be able to impart the skills and knowledge necessary for us to be able to defend or combat against these cyber threats.
The Centre for Cybersecurity aims to keep Singapore safe by educating organisations and individuals to recognise that their digital security is in their own hands. And it's no small task. In 2022, 80% of organisations in Singapore admitted they'd been hit by a ransomware attack in the previous 24 months.
Singapore is absolutely an attractive target for a lot of cybercriminals as well as nation-state actors. The reason behind this is because Singapore holds a lot of data. and we are related to certain organizations and countries that are geopolitically sensitive.
In November 2023, a crippling cyber attack on Australian ports brought supply chains to a standstill. It demonstrated how vulnerable a country's major infrastructure could be to malicious threats.
In fact, that's why Cybersecurity Agency of Singapore has created Cybersecurity Code of Practice, which is a manual for companies that are related to operational technology, whether they're in aviation, maritime, or different areas, to be able to live up to certain standards in terms of cybersecurity to ensure that their attacks are being thwarted off regularly.
SIEM, in short, right, stands for Security Information and Event Management. Now, what exactly do they manage, right?
The Centre for Cybersecurity incorporates practical scenario assessments as part of its courses. The countdown timer creates a sense of urgency for the students to identify the threats and fix them before it's too late.
The practical aspect is crucial when learning about cybersecurity. The simulator is a state-of-the-art technology that we have integrated into our training programs, where we create different situations based on real-life events when they are at work, and they will be able to value add to the organizations by showcasing their skills and their adaptability to the different threats.
Leonard Kong was one of the centre's students who benefited from the simulation sessions.
There's only one right answer, and you really have to keep going at it, and it's in a live dynamic environment. I do vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. The preparation that we did in Centre for Cybersecurity definitely helped me understand what is needed from a risk perspective and what I need to do in order to be able to protect the institution from such risks.
So one of my biggest pride is our students and the people who have graduated from our training program. So our CFC students have gone everywhere from Goldman Sachs to Daimler to NTU, all around Singapore. And because they're in critical areas of Singapore, they're able to defend Singapore well.
By focusing on cybersecurity education and training, our institution has become a strategic partner in enhancing Singapore's overall cybersecurity resilience.
I am very happy to welcome back SGTech Chair Wong Wai Ming. Wai Ming, for Singapore to thrive as a global trading partner, we need to ensure we have the talent and the skills to maintain a high level of cybersecurity. Are we investing enough, though, into this important area?
We are, but I would say it's not enough. And it's not just cybersecurity alone. There are many major tech skills that's important in this transformation that will include AI, software development, product management, etc. itself. There are critical skills to skill up. And we must be also cognizant of the fact that there's a global shortage in tech talents. So it's really a matter of constantly upskilling, reskilling, and cross-skilling our workforce.
Now, we've heard about job rescaling and redesign as an important strategy to keep skills up to date and employees retained. That's a big responsibility, isn't it, for the employer to keep ahead of tech developments?
Oh, definitely, right. If we want to be successful in digital transformation, no choice, I would say. They have to do it. But Singapore enterprises are lucky. There's so many programs and schemes available across, right, that they can tap into to help them really upskill and reskill their workforce successfully. But I would say it's really also the employees' mindset that needs to change. They need to adopt a more continuous learning kind of mentality so that they constantly look for micro-skilling and micro-credentials to keep themselves relevant and up to date.
So to what extent can businesses collaborate, perhaps with mentoring programs, to ensure we have the skills, but whilst maintaining a competitive edge?
Well, I'd rather say not say collaborate, but there's a very important point that business really need to look at, is really skills-based hiring. Not just looking for qualification or academic qualification-based hiring because of the shortage in the workforce, we understand itself. But also at the same time, it's the mentality of the employees too. Right, to really take on these skill sets and be able to accept skills-based remuneration itself. And that will require major mind shifts from companies, their HR departments, and also the employees themselves.
Thank you so much for your time, Wai Ming, for your insights as well, and for being a part of our Global Future program. And that wraps up SGTech's Global Future series for 2024. You can review and share any of the films in our 6 episodes by going to the SGTech website. I hope that you enjoyed watching, and it's been my pleasure to be your host. I'm Colette Wong, wishing you a sustainable, secure, skilled, and successful global future. Bye-bye.